Hi, today we're going to do an unboxing, review and test of this DC electronic load which I got from AliExpress for £35. There's no brand name on it, but it's commonly found on eBay, Amazon, etc. And it has a DC 12V 1A 2.4 inch colour screen, DC numerical control electronic load tester. Does DC 150 volts at 20 amps, maximum of 150 watts. Right, so this is how it came from AliExpress. It was just in a plastic bag, no tape around it, and as you can see the box is a bit battered. So inside the box we've got a bit of foam, some instructions, in Chinese and English, basically just a spec sheet, no real instructions. Some sellers on eBay and Amazon do actually have instructions for this. Now, as you can see, the packaging is not great. It's been shipped all the way around the world, so it is actually quite a heavy unit. Kitchen worktop video again, this one. Right, I don't appear to be any damage. What's that there? Apart from that, it's quite a heavy, sturdy little unit. So what's to get in the box? Get adapter plug. It's very dodgy, right, 125 volts. Bear in mind this is in the UK, so that's an American or Chinese mains adapter is that, with a European adapter, so I won't be able to use that in the UK. Right, okay, that's 12 volts, 1 amp, with a 2.5, that end's being crushed as well, so yeah, 5.5 with 2.5mm jack plug, so I'll just go and find an AC adapter. Right, okay, so that's the intro to do with. I bought this because I've already got, I wanted something cheap, so I'm going to build a battery pack. Now it's not going to get used very often. I did actually build a DC electronic load, which I'll show you on the screen now, but it is exactly that. It's just an electronic load. It's got no timer in it, no automatic cut off when the battery runs flat, and you've got to work out the ampere capacity yourself. So back to this, I've got a router power supply here with the right connector on it. Now let's just plug it back. No rattle, control panel. We've got the menu, I guess that's menu that's spelt wrong. Okay, RS, don't know what that means. Charge, discharge, on and off. It's got 4-wire measurement here, so you can, which is quite handy. I think that pulls out as well as the connector we can pull out. Yep, it is. That unplugs, so it's just a standard connector. It's got 4 wires, so you can measure the current without affecting the voltage drop along the actual discharge test cables. So this you've got V-Sense, what's that up there? I-Sense, V-Pulse. So that so that's your battery input there. Them two, and those are your sense wires. Like I say, to avoid the voltage drop along the cable at high currents. It's a little bit battered, but it does seem quite a sturdy unit. So what we'll do is, I think what we'll do is we'll tear it down first and see what's inside, to make sure there's no damage before I power it on. So take a look. So I suspect it'll be based on one of those cheap single MOSFET designs that you typically see, where it's just a bare circuit board. I'll show you an example of that on the screen now, because there's unfavorable reviews on them saying that a lot of them simply can't handle the currents. It's just a single MOSFET and then they will blow up, and then when they do blow they put a direct short on the battery. So we'll take this apart and we'll see what's inside. Okay, so for £33 though, well £35, as long as it works, I think it's pretty good value for money. As long as it doesn't blow up. But I thought I'd say originally, it's not something I'm going to be using constantly, day to day. It's something I'm going to only use once in a blue moon, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money on the more expensive models, which do get good reviews. I've yet to find a review of one of these on the internet, so that's why I thought I'd do one. It does look, for just one-off use or very occasional use, it looks okay. It's a bit like those, like I say, aforementioned units where it's just a bare circuit board. Not much protection if anything falls on it or breaks the LCD screen or something falls on the circuit board. It can be on the electronics workbench and that's accidentally touch something metal and get shorted out, whereas this is inside a sturdy case, so it's less likely to get damaged. If I don't want to come off, it does. Oops, that sound healthy. Oh, that's just a bit of piece of plastic over that. Let's just come off. There we go. Just a bit of a. That's it. Yeah, it looks to me like it's probably based on one of them cheap single MOSFET ones. So you look on there. Very small heatsink. You can see inside there. There's an LED on the board there. Provision for a buzzer that isn't installed. Looks like it also charges batteries as well, so it's got a charge indicator on it. Yeah, I think it's probably a bit of flux there. Yeah, it's a single MOSFET design, so a bit skeptical of it actually under 150 watts without it blowing up. So I mean, the design that I made uses 4 MOSFETs, so the 150 watts is distributed amongst all 4. So that, I don't take the PCB out here. Just before I do that. Sure, it's not bolted through the bottom of the case. No, it isn't. Now I have got a battery pack, which I'm going to convert. I'll do that in another video. So I've got 48 cells to test. So this will be ideal. Yeah, that post is broken. That's surprising. It's got damage in the post. Yeah, pull that off. Let's look. See under there. Oh no, there is 4 MOSFETs in there. 3 MOSFETs. No, 2 MOSFETs. And yeah, it kind of amazes me when you can get components. Oh, that just broken off. Oh dear. As I was saying, yeah, it's quite amazing when you can get stuff as cheap as this direct from China. And there's a lot of crap out there, but some of it's quite useful for hobbyists. I mean, for hobbyist use, you don't have to go spending massive amounts of money on the big brand name stuff, where a lot of this cheaper stuff is perfectly adequate. You just got to weed out the good stuff from all the crap. There is some that are reviews of the particular model, which I'll show you now on the screen. Which seems a pretty good unit, but it's quite expensive. Like I said, the amount of times I'm going to use it, I probably won't go to that expense. So I'll just try this one first, and if it's garbage, I can always return it. But so far, it seems quite impressive. They even thought of the. Even engineer the case so that the air's all directed over the heatsink. Yeah. Right, let's power this thing up, see what it does. There we go, comes on immediately. Right, let's see that. Go on, that's it. That's better, yeah. Okay, here's another screen. So what we got here? First of all, it's in Chinese, so we need to change that to English. So there's my menu. I guess it's supposed to do something. Oh, it's flashing there. Low voltage protection. Can I change that? Yeah, I can. Text is very small. Yeah, you press the menu, look, it's cycling through the buttons. It's very difficult. So now what I want to do is change it into English. So press and hold it maybe. There we go. Let's say, so there's no instructions with this. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the text is very, very small, so I'll do my best to see what this says, but can I change that to English? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Chinese, how do you change it? Yes, the menu button selects the option. The colour could be a bit difficult. That blue's a bit difficult to read. I think they could have done better with changing the highlighted colour. Standby time, that's on off. Brightness, let's see if we can increase the brightness of the screen here. It's already on maximum brightness. Okay. Standby time. Okay. Seems okay. Okay, with it. There we go. There we go. Right, I think really, in most cases you wouldn't need the instructions because I think that's fairly self-explanatory. So you see, it's just difficult to see what's highlighted at the time. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. You can just see it flashing there. Overvoltage protection. Overcurrent protection is 20 amps. You can change that to something more suitable. It's 10.5 amps. You would have thought the button there in the middle would actually select it, but overpower protection, 150 watts, we'll leave that as it is. So you got a stop voltage there, so that's handy for testing batteries. So it's got a stop voltage, so if you want to test a battery, you can leave it until it reaches a certain point. Say for a LifePro battery with 2.5 volts, and it'll automatically turn off, so you can just leave it running without worrying of over discharging your battery. You got a time limit as well, which you can set. That looks. There we go. Yeah, amps. That's it. How do I set it to voltage? That moves it across. There. Yeah, so you send you a clicker. Yeah. That moves the cursor, and then the menu button moves it to the next. How do you change the mode on it? Press and hold goes into the menu, so okay. It's hard to see what's flashing when you press the cursor. When you press the menu button, you got to look at what's flashing. I wonder if that button's iffy. I can't see anything. Oh, there we go. Finally. It's difficult to see. So you get constant current mode, constant power, constant resistance, constant current. So that's the cycle show that again. stopped voltage. Right, so you press the menu again now. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing flashing. So what's changing there? The current. Press it again. Still on current. Press it again. Still on current. Again. 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 About 5 or 6 times I've pressed it now. Eight. 9. You got to press it 9-10 times before it moves into the next position. So that's a bit of a design flaw, surely. Why is it showing there? Capacity there. Ah, wait a minute, I might just have been stupid here. No, I'm not. You have literally got to press it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you got to press it 5 times before it moves to the next. Back on current selection again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you got to press it a few times before it moves to the next. Right, okay, that's enough fanning about with that now for now. We'll put it on a real world test now. Test my power supply. Right, what I've noticed is for 20 amps current, these connections look very small. So I expect they're going to get pretty hot. So I'm going to connect this to my power supply. What I don't miss is the connections on there with, these sort of connections on the banana plug. If I had them on, it'd be pretty good. And then a separate one for the sense wires. Just connect this to my power supply. We've got spare connectors on, you can plug it directly into a battery to test it. Right, so here it is. So I can get a connection on that without it's cut it off. Turn the output on. Right, it's now showing 12.160 volts on the front there. You can see that. Another power supply, it's 12 volts. So it's a little bit out. I'll just check it on maybe to see what it really is. Yeah, check it up there. Yeah, 11.999. So the readout on the on my power supply is bang on. I know that it's accurate, so it's slightly out, but I think I saw a calibration somewhere. Go back into the menu again. Right, now can we change it? That's cleared it. There we go. See, that's why you calibrate it. You put 30 volts in. Then you press menu so it shows. So that's highlighted. Move the thing, it'll show okay on the screen. Just made to exit. So you've got to put 30 volts in there. Let's calibrate it. So it's now showing the right voltage. Right, there we go. Now I've figured that out. Double check that on the meter. 30 volts, that's near as if. So, okay, so first thing out of the box, you got to calibrate the display. Just then plug the cord. So I'm going to 0. Right, cool. Right. So that's that sorted. Right, let's do a test on it. Drop it to 12 volts. .998 volts, that's good enough. Now I want to set the current. Constant current of 1 amp. Now the current limit on the power supply is set to 4 amps. So if I press run stop now. Stop drawing any current. Let's try again. Board on. It's still not working. Right, okay. Right, I'll link together those two wires. Now it's showing the voltage. 11.938. Is it, bang on 12 volts, yeah, right. As they are supposed to use a 4-wire board, but let's try to turn the board on now. There we go, yeah. So if you're using it in 2-wire board, you must link these two together, as I've shown here. Otherwise it won't work. Right, what I need to do now is gradually increase the current. Can I increase the current whilst it's running? Yes, I can. Yeah. I'm just going to figure to join 2 amps on there, and I know the display on this is accurate, so current indications bang on. 3 amps. That's about 100 milliamps. 15 milliamps out, so we'll give it accuracy. The unit is very good. 4 amps. Oh, there we are, cooler fans kicked in. Let's see if we can get 5 amps. Yeah, no, my power supply is the current's kicked in. Still drawing. Still drawing. No, it takes a while for it to respond. Just changed that to 3 amps. It took a good 10 seconds for that to catch up. Change it back to 4 amps again. Back to 5. And then back to 3 again. It's like 1, 2. Yeah, it takes a few seconds to respond. And fun, this is quite loud. Question is, can handle the full current. And so we've got 35 watts there, so what's the point to make those about handle the current? I'll do some battery testing with it as well. As the fan noise is a bit. .88 watts. So cool. 115 watts now. There's one thing I wanted to do before I go on to testing the battery with this, is tear down this terrible charger, because that is not a good sound. Right. So there's a hole in it there. Or whether with a hole in it. Right, I need to get this apart. Right, where's my hammer? Let's do this on the floor. Well, that didn't take much hitting at all. That came apart really easy. Yeah, That's not the safest looking charger I've seen. Obviously no concrete in it to make it weigh more. But yeah, I think that was to go in the bin. That came apart very, very easy. I didn't even have to hit that hard at all. So yeah, we'll throw that terrible charger away. On to testing. To test this, what we're going to use is my lithium phosphate battery. Now there is a fuse on this, so let's take these out. Right then, so as you can see here, this is a mega power bank I made using an old lithium phosphate battery pack. Now, it does go through a switch. Does that go to the battery? Or is that the battery output? Yeah, that's the battery output. I need to plug that in there somehow now. There is a fuse on this, so it's a 9-volt battery, so it's at 4 amps. Stop button. There we go. Can I put the current up even more? 10 amps. There we are. That's good. We'll see how long that runs. Oh, actually, oh shit, before I do that, set it off. We want to set an end voltage, don't we? This is a lithium battery, so we need to set the end voltage. So now there's a big mess in this battery that automatically cuts it off, but for the purpose of this demo, we're going to assume there isn't one. So we did set a cut-off voltage. So I'm going to set a cut-off voltage of 3.3 volts, 9.9 volts, so 2.5. I want to set a cut-off voltage of 8 volts in this case. There we are. Well, then we'll just leave that running and see what happens. We're to set it to 20 amps, but I think it's going to get quite hot. I think there's already a 10 amp fuse in this anyway, so we'll try it at 10 amps for a bit and then we'll crank the current and see what happens. I'm just drawing 92 watts there, so right, leave that 10 minutes to see what happens. Right, well, it's been on a few minutes and these test wires are getting a bit toasty, which is what I'd expect. But that's not faulting the tester, obviously. There's quite a bit of heat coming out of the back. And the question is, can I turn the current up without the battery, without these wires melting? Just turned off there. Might pop that fuse. I know, still got a voltage there. Yeah, I think it might be the let's put the current up slowly this time. So it does take a while to respond. Yeah, it's the battery that's dropping now. I wonder why did it turn itself off? I've set the overcurrent protection to 10.5 amps. What an idiot. That's my fault. So I set that back to 5 amps again. Yeah, did I set the current protection? No, I'm going to set it at 16 amps because I don't want to go any higher than, I think it's a 30 amp fuse in this battery. I can't remember if it had a 10 or a 30 amp fuse. I set it at 20 amps again anyway, so there we go. Right. The fan is very noisy. 10 amps again. 90 watts. 100 watts. 108 watts. 117. 125. 133. 's getting quite warm, these cables. So 140 watts. Just heading down it to the it's getting very hot. There's quite a lot of heat coming out of the back, so I'm going to leave that running for a bit, and then we'll see what happens. See if there's any magic smoke. Been on a few minutes, see the amp hour rating counting up. So I think this is a not bad little bit of kit. For the money, I think it's great. I mean, it is a bit, that's suffered damage in transit as that, but I think it'll be fine. I think I'm not quite fit, but altogether, I think quite impressed with the screen's a bit cluttered, but I think it's self-explanatory really. You don't really need a user manual for it, you can generally figure it out for yourself. Because that fan noise is very noisy. Yeah, it's getting quite toasty. Right, let's leave it. One thing I didn't realise, it's got an internal temperature as well, so I'll just see what temperature the fan comes on at. Right, the cooling fan comes on at 26 degrees, so right, I think we'll just, like I say, do a long-term test on this and I'll come back. Okay, so that's finished. So when the battery has discharged, it's just a bit confusing, the charge light will illuminate to indicate the battery's hit the cut-off voltage that you've set. Other than that, I thought that it doubled up as a battery charger, but that really means discharge process end. So, right, let's put this thing over. Let's do some final conclusions. Right then, so to sum up, it's a cheap and cheerful unit. It's actually quite well made. For the money, I'm quite impressed with it. It's got 4-wire control, sensing, but you generally find a more expensive equipment. It could have done better with barrel jack connectors rather than these for the main discharge. Use these for the sense wires. That could have been labelled better. That should say discharge end rather than charge. Menu spelt wrong in there, which is always a minor criticism. But other than that, I think it's quite easy to use. It's quite an impressive little unit, and it certainly stands against more expensive models, especially only for occasional use. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with that. Time will tell how good it is, and I'm going to use this to test the battery pack that I'm building. So I need to test all the cells to make sure they're okay, and so I can match them all. And I'll use this to get used to testing 48 cells. It's cooled down. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with that. Yeah, I think that just about wraps this video up then. I'll do a follow-up video once I've tested that battery. If anything unforeseen happens, or other than that, I'll leave it here, and thanks for watching.